chocolate, and we're here with Jim and Maureen at Zach's Chocolate. And again, we're learning about all the process. We're like, yay, all the sampling, all the chocolatiers. But you were asking him, why is it Zach's Chocolate?
Yeah.
There's no Zach.
There's no Zach, but there's no Zachy. Everybody's Zach. Zachy is part of our last name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's where it comes
That makes sense.
That's where it comes from.
And you guys have been around about 7 years now.
7 years, yeah.
Right. So your classes and grab. I remember going to the chocolate tour and just amazing, and I love following all the flavors.
Absolutely.
Super creative and recruiting
So
other local
creative.
business.
I love that they use like local honey. I've actually had one of those one time. I had one filled with local honey. It was some kind of honey ganache filling. It was amazing.
That's this piece right here.
Yeah, there we go.
That's the
Got
honey.
it right here.
Local peanut butter, local coffee. We actually have this piece here that, I don't know if it's a strawberry
And you
or
get to zoom
chocolate.
in on all the chocolates.
So
Yes.
that is a
Take a look at
strawberry
these.
black garlic with roasted barrel cactus seeds.
Oh my goodness.
Oh wow.
So the black garlic is locally grown and fermented to turn the garlic into black garlic.
Very
and
cool.
The barrel cactus seeds are foraged locally by a woman who goes out. She gathers up the fruit, opens them up, scrapes them out, dries them, and roasts. They're like poppy seeds. So it's like the strawberry, and black garlic is like balsam kind of flavor. It's like a strawberry balsam poppy seed.
What a fun. See, and that's the step that I go for. I always look for the most interesting things that I've never tried. And like, that's got a lot going on. I want to eat it.
Absolutely fun. The other thing that's really fun, although it's local for us, it's brand new, is this piece on the right above it, the blue swirl. That is a smoky star anise that's made with tamarind also. So yeah, it's star anise. It's interesting. We got star anise that I guess seasonally in winter they have to dry it over wood fires.
Okay.
Because they don't have sun. It's the same as cocoa in certain parts of the world, like in Papua New Guinea, they dry the beans over fire because they don't have enough sunshine to dry them in the sun. And so they pick out that smoke. So the star anise seasoning does that as well. We just learned this year. And so it's got that, that licorice sort of flavor that star anise has. And we added tamarind to give it just a touch of soft creaminess. It's really cool.
Interesting. I don't know if you're able to. Did you get a good zoom in on these? Some of these are just. They're just beautiful. I mean, I love all the colors that we've got in here.
So amazing chocolates, amazing different flavors, incorporating local, and if you're wanting to check out just something special, I always love seeing what the flavors are.
And they change weekly, right? Yeah.
They change on a whim.
What's next?
Well, we're going to go take a peek at some of the process. So we're going to zoom out and maybe sample, and we'll go from there.
You guys actually start from the beans, so that's really cool because you're the only one in town that does that, right?
Well, we're the only one that has a space you could visit that does that. We're not the only one anymore that makes their own chocolate from being a bar. But we are the only one that makes other things, extensively, like bonbons and the brownies and
now the rubs and
chocolate and honey and mixer and all the things like that. So that's what's really neat. Most chocolate shops, right, as you know, they buy chocolate. Usually from one of the big industrial, producers. There's different styles and qualities. They pick what they want to work with, and they go from there. And so the first part of it is done by somebody else. Here we make everything, right, starting with the chocolate.
A lot more control.
Yeah, we do, and from flavors and textures and things. So come on in here. I'm not going to walk in. You could shoot in there because it's not open right now.
All that.
So this is a cold storage room that we built here to keep the beans. So this is kept, to keep them basically, fresh and at low humidity, so that they're always, ready to use. And there's beans. You can see some of the bags, are visible. Beans from Belize, from the Philippines, from Guatemala, from Nicaragua, from Peru, from Madagascar. They grow where coffee grows, right? So they come from any tropical rainforest environment, between 120 degrees north and south of the equator. So that's where we start. I'll show you really quick, sort of some mechanical processes, and then there's some flavor related parts to what we do. So the beans aren't ready to use right away, so we actually have to sort them out. Sometimes there's twigs, rocks, and leaves, There's lots of dust, and then there's beans that aren't fermented properly. This is a fermented product, and the fermentation that takes place on the farms is where the flavor starts to develop.
Okay.
So you can tell physically they'll be clumped and stuck together, which means they didn't get an even fermentation, which is a whole process that we can separately go into. But we basically have to separate this. So I have a small room because it's a dusting process where literally all we do is
See all that.
Yeah, let me just move this so you can see it.
So that fermentation process, is that similar to wine where you'll get different flavors?
Yeah, so there are different varieties
Okay.
of cocoa beans, and each one comes with different natural flavors that are accessible if you ferment them well and if you roast them and do a step called conching, which are the last two are things we do here, right? Yeah, so this room we literally just run the beans through a sorter that shakes them out, gets the dust out, and then we have them binned up for roasting. This is our roasting. So if you come down this way here, so this looks like a coffee roaster, right? And it's made by a company in Oklahoma that makes coffee roasters. So it's a rotary drum, and it functions like a coffee roaster. Coffee runs at higher temperatures than the way we roast our cocoa. So we actually have limits set on it, so we can't, let it run away and burn it.
Very much chocolate.
But the concept is identical. So what happens inside when we turn it on, the rotary drum, rotates, and there's fins in there, paddles like they keep kicking the beans in the air, right? And you can see that when it's on through the window, where they're just kicking them up in the air. And the idea is that they're getting roasted in the air, right? So it's getting even exposure to air and heat as it goes. So for cocoa, it's a gentle rotation. Coffee, they roast more aggressively, faster rotation. So we have to do it slower. The reason is, so these are beans I roasted yesterday.
Okay.
These are from beans. And you'll see that there is a shell. You can see it here, very thin, practice before you can see it. A little shell, okay? So that's called the husk, right? And that's the bean inside. Oops.
And it looks like a cocoa bean, just bigger, or it looks like a coffee bean, just bigger.
It's bigger, yeah, and they're sort of like the size and shape of an almond, right? So we don't want the shell to come off during the roast because it's protecting the bean. Whereas in coffee, this is the shape that comes off right there. That they want that to come on when the bean comes out ready to be used. So here we do a much more gentle roast. And then that room I showed you before, I guess we can walk into next and step of the process. So these are all beans I roasted yesterday, and then later today, they'll come down here. And here we literally have 3 pieces of machine that help us to get to the nib and get clean separation. So the one in the back that you feed the beans in there, arm it just slams them basically.
Is that what cracks them?
Yeah, it cracks them, and then we separate them by size, and then we use this, which is a vacuum thing, to do the separation. So when you have an even size, you get a cleaner, fuller separation.
Okay.
Because you don't want the husk in there. And this is what you end up with. So if you come here, so these are nibs, and you can see, where's my, I'll show you, this is the step before. So this is before we separate them. You can see it's a mix of husk and nibs.
And you can smell it.
Yeah.
Can you smell that?
Yeah, and if you look, there's a lot of shell, but you can see the husk, the nibs in there as well. Okay, so there's all that. And then when we're done, it looks like this.
Okay.
Okay? So it's all totally separated, like that. And this is what we feed into the stone grinders, which I don't have operating right now because we're between batches, but I will open one up and show you.
So are the cocoa nibs, is that the nib that when people buy like really specialty cocoa nibs, is that what they're buying right there?
Yeah, so now when you buy them, I will tell you, and you need to use this, but when you buy them, they're going to be a different, it's just like, like coffee, there's bulk and there's specialty coffee. So you're going to buy something made with a bulk bean because it's being used for a less valuable purpose, right, from the manufacturer.
Yeah.
Plus, by the time you get them, they're probably anywhere from 1 to 6 months old. They're not going to be super fresh, and just with everything what it takes to get them from the manufacturer to the grocery store shelf.
Right.
But they last a long time. But on the other hand, they're like nuts. There's oil in them, which is the cocoa butter.
Yeah.
And so over time, they can go bad. But the main thing you'll find that's different if you were to compare the color of what I just showed you, these happen to be from Uganda, which are ones that I would sell as nibs to eat, because some of them, the ones from Belize, for example, are tangier.
Okay.
So what they do in commercial ones is they do a super dark roast, which gets rid of these sort of flavor differences or notes that are sort of, you know, on the extremes. And they're making a product that's just more generic. Because we're using beans that have different flavor qualities to begin with, and we don't over roast them, so those qualities are still there. They're not all, you know, I think, fun to eat on their own.
Right.
You know, because some people like different things, but the ones from Uganda are.
So we actually get to try them. I'll even save a couple for Tracy.
What?
They're really good. They're like, it has the texture of eating nuts, but it's like a really bitter chocolate flavor.
Perfect. All
I'll get a
right.
couple for you to try.
You're gonna see me coming in hot.
Do it.
All right. Perfect. Nice.
Those are fun. I definitely understand why people like to put these into things.
Oh yeah, I
Because they
mean,
do add a fun texture.
a lot of people just put them in smoothies, but you can use them wherever you use nuts, right?
Yeah.
So you can put them on cakes, like cake top,
Yeah.
or you can put them in salads or on ice cream.
Or cereal. Or
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm totally picturing like granola with it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, trail mix kind of a thing. I mean, it's great for them. And it's, you know, and it's just, there's nothing added, right? There's no sugar.
Yeah.
It's just it's a cocoa bean. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Turn into chocolate. Yeah. And as I say, after we take them out of the grinder, we block them, and then once they set up, we wrap them. And the chocolate that we make for our single origin bars, most of them we actually don't use right away. We age them just like you would red wine.
Okay.
And for the same reason. So red wine, you know, if you have a good bottle of red wine, it has tannins, right? So when it's young, it's very astringent. It's kind of cocoa. So cocoa has tannins as well. And so by letting it rest, not for years like a good red wine, but for weeks, it just mellows it out basically. The tannins integrate, the flavors sort of just integrate. Yeah, so some of them we don't. The ones that are not acidic at all, we can use right away.
Okay.
The ones that have a certain level of acidity,
Yeah.
we like to let them mellow out. So we'll wrap them and let them sit to rest for anywhere from 3 to 8 weeks, depending on the chocolate, before we use them.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I did not know that about chocolate.
Yeah. So chocolate, there's a lot of similarities when we talk about wine and coffee and chocolate.
Which is why they all go so well together.
Between where they grow and how we
Yeah.
roast them, and then flavor notes and you know the tannins, very much like wine.
Yeah.
So we do some things in the process of turning the nibs into chocolate. The last thing we do is a step called conching. Has to do with final flavor development. So we develop initial flavor in the roaster after the farmers do the fermentation, which really starts developing chocolatey flavors. We roast them to where we want them. And then after they're ground down and mixed in, conching is another step about exposure to air and heat, just like roasting is, except that instead of the beans, it's at the finished chocolate stage. And what's happening is there's volatiles that are just evaporating off.
Yeah.
And so as you taste it during conching, which is a churning process, you can taste the flavors changing over the course of some hours. And they'll go basically, just very broadly, from like more tangy to less, if you think of it just that way. You know, the acids are just kind of evaporating off, and you get to the chocolate where you say, okay, that's what we want. And stop.
We're there. Stop.
No, that's it. This is our chocolate. Yeah, so that's how we do it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Very cool process.
And the butter press. So when I was telling you before that we press cocoa butter, we have all this cocoa powder to do fun things with. And the reason we press cocoa butter is a couple of reasons. One is we add a little bit of cocoa butter to our single origin balls.
Okay.
And what cocoa butter does is it's the part of the bean that makes chocolate melty. People know it's used as a moisturizer, right?
Yeah.
It melts at human body temperature, right? Around 98 degrees. So when you have cocoa butter, which is already naturally in chocolate, adding it to a single origin chocolate bar, it sort of just rounds off the flavor. It makes it mouthfeel a little bit nicer. So it makes it the way we like it.
Yeah.
There are people who make, let's say, there's 2 ingredients in part chocolate. It's cocoa nibs and sugar. For
for us, many of those bars, and it's a personal thing, are a little bit drier or a little bit rougher than milk is nice. We add a very little bit. It's not like a couverture that has lots of cocoa butter that you're making, ganaches and little pieces and stuff. Where you need that viscosity, where you really, flow has to flow. This is just a little bit to just round off the melt that makes it melt nicer and feel nicer. So that's why we do it. And so what you can see here, this is, you're welcome to come here. So we put the nibs in the hopper, and this is a screw press. It's actually made to press canola butter.
Okay.
So Maureen found this press and worked with the manufacturer around.
Oh, wow.
We would send nibs by mail, and we would press and send back using different pressures and temperatures and nozzles.
So you really customized this for what you
we
need.
figured out how it works.
Wow.
So what happens is there's a screw in the pressure, this is a heat collar, and it's squeezing the nibs to squeeze the butter out. That's what's dripping here.
Yeah.
And then what's coming out the end is the solid part of the bean or the cocoa powder. Now, it doesn't look like cocoa powder yet. After it dries, we grind it and sift it.
Oh, wow.
To get it.
You're making your own cocoa powder. Wow.
This butter right now looks a little dark. The beginning of it is kind of dark. Later, and I can show you
Oh, wow.
when it's finished.
That's so crazy, the
cocoa
color
butter
change.
is this color.
This has some solids in it, so it's not 100% separation of the two parts of the bean, but we're not filtering it. So there's also solids.
Yeah. How
So
interesting.
that's the butter and that's the solids. And then, so that's one thing we do. The other thing we do with it is we make our own white chocolate. So white chocolate that we make with unfiltered cocoa butter has this tan color. I'll show you the bars.
Yeah.
Because the cocoa solids is still in there a little bit. It adds this depth of flavor. So our white chocolate's less sweet than most. It's a darker color.
Yeah.
But it's a really cool, fun flavor. The other thing that we do is Maureen will separate these two parts and use just the pure butter to make our own white chocolate. We use the white chocolate ganache.
Okay.
So Maureen, is that still? Yeah. Oh, you actually have that here.
Oh.
I can show you what that. So comparing it to what you see here, right? You come over here. See these bins over here?
Yeah.
That's our pure white chocolate. So you can see the difference between the two. So this is, it's still not filtered. We literally slice off that layer.
Okay.
So there are probably some small amounts of solids suspended in there, but it's almost a pure white chocolate. So we can use this to make white chocolate ganaches where you're dealing with a less sweet, but more pure white chocolate flavor without those. Yeah. So so that's what we do.
That is the process.
That's what we do.
We're gonna actually walk over this way and take a lesson over here.
Wow. You'll learn some fun stuff now.
Yeah.
Right.
Perfect. You know, sneak around.
Yeah.
See what we're gonna learn. All right. Perfect.
Okay, so I was going to show you how we do colors.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
For videos.
So she's got a polycarbonate mold here, and this is really great for working with tempered chocolate because they're going to pop out really nicely. But she's going to show us how to do some color in here so we can get those beautiful, colored swirls that they have on some of those truffles you saw. So what are you putting in there?
So this is a purple natural cocoa butter. So I only use natural cocoa butter, so I'm going to put it in there. So they don't have, they're vegetable-based colors.
Okay.
So there's not a lot of dyes and stuff like that. Not any dyes in there. And it's organic cocoa butter as well. So this is a purple. And so
And it looks a little pearly. Is
it
pearlized
is.
too?
It is. Yeah, it's a pearlized one, which is nice. They've actually come out with a lot more cocoa butters in brighter colors recently in the organic ones because it used to just be, you can get great colors if you're using dyes. But that's kind of over about.
And I'm not actually a huge fan of food dyes, which is weird because I eat a lot of things that have been dyed. But I'm usually turned off by something that's filled with a bunch of dyes. So I like using something that's all natural.
Yeah, like the smoky sort anise is actually a teal. It's really neat
It's
color.
so pretty.
And it just has kind of like the blue and green kind of swirled in it. So it's really neat.
Yeah. So she's just kind of dabbing these in here with her finger, just kind of, it's not like a perfect covering, it's just going to be kind of a swirly pattern here.
And this one has two colors. It has the purple and then the gold.
Okay. And gold is always such a fun thing to have in any kind of dessert. It just, I don't know, it makes it so much, it takes it to another fancy level.
Yes. So then this is, it's going to need to set up a little bit before I do the gold. So if you want, I can show you taking them out of the table.
Sure.
So I'm just going to scoot over here.
How about it over here?
So this is our, this is caramel.
She's got a piece of acetate on there that just makes that nice and flat. She's got that perfect shiny bottom. It's a fun part. Just smack it in its color. Take out a little aggression.
Yeah. I'm trying to do it quiet, so
That's okay.
so there's
Yeah, and
there's
look
the
at how
first-
perfectly these pop out. They're so pretty.
Yeah.
And these are such fun shapes. So did you guys design any of your molds, or are these
These are
just things that you happen to like?
Yeah, they are. So part of what we do, like this one doesn't have any color in it. So
Right.
I like the combination of color and design. Like,
Yeah.
you know, these are pretty on their own.
They really
so
are.
you don't have a box of just like all the same shape and different colors.
Right.
You can have different shapes, different colors.
And it also probably helps when you're trying to identify what you've got.
Oh yeah, that's the only way to tell what's inside it.
It's like flour.
Yeah. Yeah. So now I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna get a little sweet, but I'm gonna try to do the golden here.
Okay. And so now we're going to add gold on top of that purple that she's got in there.
So then I'm putting gold on the other side.
Okay. And you can kind of get it.
Sorry.
You can see all the, so you can see like the purple in there right now, and then she's adding gold kind of the other side, and they're just really swirled together and pretty. It's a really nice gold.
Yeah, it is. It's also one of the pearl,
Yeah.
which is kind of nice. So some of the colors, primarily we do dark chocolate,
Mm-hmm.
and some colors don't come out on
Okay.
dark chocolate. If you do a dark red or a dark purple,
Yeah.
it's not going to show. So with the pearl,
Oh,
some
yeah.
of the lighter colors, then it will still show through. And then all the colors will look different if you do them on like the dark or the
Yeah.
or like no.
What is your favorite
It really depends on my mood.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's like, you know, sometimes after you've like had lunch or something, like a mocha's like really good. It's
Yeah.
just like, you know. So then if you look at, actually if you want to come over here over the
Oh, yeah.
black, you
See
can
it
see
in
the
the light.
color much better.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
right?
All right, so she's going to make some mango ganache for us. So we just have, is it really just as simple as mango and chocolate?
This one is. This
Okay.
one is just simply
I love it.
mango puree
Mango puree and some chocolate.
And so with anytime you're doing chocolate with anything, like you want to make sure your liquid is hotter than your chocolate.
Okay.
It's going to give you the best.
And you can already see how quick that came together. Look at that.
Beautiful. All blended.
And it's like all of a sudden it's just this super smooth, beautiful filling.
So now it's going to be too warm. So
Okay.
it's going to need to cool a little bit before we put it into the shells.
Right, because we don't want to melt ourselves.
Yeah.
All of that work.
Yeah. So we just let it sit for a while.
All right, and she's got our mango ganache here. And she's going to fill some of these lovely molds, and I'm going to show show us how to fill the chocolates and make the rest of the chocolates. Definitely looks like you may have done a few thousand of those.
I know. So fast.
It's a very practiced skill. That's so smooth. It looks perfect. It's like all velvety and delicious. Yes, just a little bit of that filling in there.
And then it has to, once this is all set, then it has to sit overnight. And then you cover it.
Yep, so these will sit here overnight while they set up enough to be covered, and then she'll do a layer of chocolate over the top, and that's it, they're done.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, very nice.
Simple.
Yeah, yeah. So simple,
Right?
Yes.
We're like,
so simple. Yeah, as we watch the entire step process
Yeah,
getting to
we're
this
like,
point,
huh.
super simple. Nice. So that's all done.
wow.
I'll grab a-
And because it's all done by hand, they're all in a little.
Right, they're all unique.
They have their own shape on it.
And so what did you fill this one with? So what are these?
This is Earl Grey lavender.
Oh,
So we do
nice.
an Earl Grey tea and a lavender. They're both organic.
Yeah.
And the piece of cream is mixed out with the chocolate with the ganache inside.
Very
For
nice.
vegan-
So this is your calming one then. Your calming chocolate.
Yes, for vegan and gluten-free people, like what are some of the things like all like flavor wise?
Yeah, so we do a lot of like with fruit puree. So we do mango, raspberry, a jalapeno pineapple.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Cherry coconut.
Sweet coconut would have to try.
And then right now we don't have, but we have made a coconut milk chocolate. And with that one we have done a macadamia cake. So we take the coconut milk chocolate and mix it with macadamia milk. And put that in our dark
cool.
chocolate, which is all
Yeah.
vegan, because we're making it all
Right,
here.
because
So
you're
there's
making
no,
it,
like this machine is all dairy free.
Yeah.
Oh wow. We have different machines for the milk and dark.
So yes, for any of our free vegan friends, we have lots of options here for you. So that is always good to have.
And the majority of what the pieces that we do are all gluten free.
Yeah.
There's like malt and beer pieces have gluten.
Right.
We do use we make brownies. So we do use wheat in the facility.
Right.
So there is
More of a food friendly.
yeah
Yeah.
But most of all the pieces don't have gluten.
Perfect. We're gonna get to try some of these chocolates now. We obviously have way more than we can eat, but we're gonna try a couple of cool
what
ones.
we're
I know, right? More than we maybe should eat right now.
Perhaps.
So this was that really cool strawberry, black garlic, everything going on kind of deal, and I really want to try it. So I'm going to do my best to. Oh, look at that! Actually, I did pretty good.
Yay.
This was better than the cake incident.
Yes, the cake is going to be my bad.
So got like this great filling in here. So I'm super excited to try this. Oh my god!
I know.
Oh my god!
But you can't take me anywhere.
That's really cool. So I definitely get all of the flavors. Yeah, that's really nice.
Right?
And I like I said, I love trying the crazy different ones. So that one's really fun. And it's not like crazy savory. It's just a little hint. I like that.
Yeah. It's not like in your face, but
No.
you get it like subtle as you go through, which is awesome.
I'm gonna try it.
I do want to try that new one. Like
Go
we're
for it.
talking about it.
Yeah.
So.
One of the fun things is if you didn't have another piece after a while, and you really let it melt, it'll stay with you for a while.
Really?
Yeah.
I love anything
Yeah.
garlic, so
Yeah.
more garlic is more better.
Yeah. Black garlic is fun. It gets sticky and sweet and
Interesting.
Alright.
Okay, what was this one again?
That is the smoky star anise.
Oh, that's right. It's the smoky star anise.
Yeah.
I really get the smoke.
And the first I was like, whoa, what's happening? Yeah, this is good.
Yeah, it is nice.
Oh.
And it's not overly smoky, because I've had some smoky things where it's like, it hits you in the face like you're at a campfire.
Yeah.
This is really nice.
We like that they're subtle. Like you get the like fun flavors that were subtle.
Yeah.
Which was good. So it was different, but yeah.
So much fun stuff.
Yeah, so come and check them out. Check out the new
Yeah.
flavors and see. And
There's a big, huge list on their site of all their flavors that they're offering at the time.
yeah,
And they are pickup only, so they you gotta call it, you gotta order online, order ahead.
and then come and get
They
your
will
stuff.
put it all together for you.
Perfect.
These obviously make great gifts because I would like to be gifted some chocolate at some point. So
Also-
if my husband's watching,
Oh man. Also, still a fan of the brownie flights and the things that you guys
Ooh,
do,
yeah.
which is always good. But yeah,
Brownie flights are fun.
brownie flight sounds great.
right.